Yeah, it's really easy to understand how some people get burnt out. Oh well, I suppose we better get on with this. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah, hello, 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 you beautiful people. How art thou? One hopest thou art well. Tommy! Yellow! Wind! Oh dear, it's going to be one of them days, I think. How art ya? Hope all is good. All is well in the world. You're fat, happy, and healthy. Well, happy and healthy. I'll do the fat for all of us. So yes, been a busy week. Oh, go away, notifications. Barbara, how are you, my dear? Hope you're wonderful. Oh, we have a Patreon dry dock this week. I'm going to be sorted for napping stuff anyway. So, yes, as the same. Busy week for me. Doing lots, organising lots, sorting lots, and buying lots. Nothing fishy related though, unfortunately. Eakins, how you doing, Ian? Dee Dee, yeah, I did see that Dee Dee did a live stream. I unfortunately missed it because I would have been there for moral support and just to get a rise out of Dee Dee. Um, we've been telling her for months or years that she could do it herself quite happily. But finally, she took the plunge. Not that kind of plunge. Oh, pardon me. So yes, busy week. Watery changes. Show you how busy I've been. Oh, 9 days for Dennis, who isn't here's hip replacement. Got everything crossed for you, Dennis, that it all goes well. Will they replace the hip with a hop so you can be hip hop? Sorry. Um, Weird. This backy is dry and it goes out all the time. Shouldn't do. Should stay alive. But yeah, so water changes, work, blah 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 blah. Researching, organising, and figuring out and buying stuff for bike packing or bikey camping. Depends on which way you want to look at it. I think bike packing is the official name. Patty Purdy P, how are you? Oh dear. Oh, oh, that might not be all gas. Um, I think we're safe. Um, so yes, things like tarpaulins and pegs and paracord and stoves, air mattresses and ground sheets and sleeping bags and inflatable pillows and writing list after list after list. Because every time I think I've got everything I need, then I find or think of something else. But I think we're nearly there now. There's only one or two more things on the list, so fingers crossed. Ready for the virgin attempt on the Boudica way in a couple of weeks' time now. So expect lots of videos. That's probably why it's going to take me 2 days. I'm going to spend half the time filming things. It's a route through rural Norfolk down to the Suffolk border. I won't cross, don't worry. And yeah, lots of interesting things along the way. Obviously named after Queen Boudica of the Iceni, or the Iceni, if you go by what is now perceived to be the correct pronunciation, but you know, everyone calls it Iceni, so it's probably going to stay like that. And Scotty Aquati's here as well. All the cool kids are coming out the woodwork tonight. So yeah, that has been first and foremost in my mind all week, and now I have a week off. Yay! To sort things out, sort my head out, and yeah, we'll be there. I mean, you know how busy it is. Well, I noticed that Fred was wafting away in his cave yesterday morning. Thought, oh, I better get rid of those eggs. Picked the cave up, and it weren't full of eggs. So we've got another batch of super red bristlenoses on the way. Well, they're here. But hey, technically, the old crazy cult queen, yes, we are. Boudica, or Boadicea, depends on how up to date the US is with UK history. Although in that case, it's British history, or Angles history, because they were Angles, being from East Anglia. And one of the first things on the route, if I take that little detour, is to I can't remember the name of it now, but it's in Caistor St Edmunds, and it is the site of the Roman capital of East Anglia, which is thought to be built on what was the old Iceni base of operations. Definitely didn't learn about it in high school. No, wouldn't do. That'd be like me learning about Hiawatha. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, History Channel and Horrible Histories. Yes, Horrible Histories is very good. Yeah, so follows that route through some very interesting little villages and towns, and what's the pervert's favourite kind of shoes? White Vans. Ha 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 ha. And what kind of file makes a hole that big? That big? A paedophile. Sorry. Yeah, so we're doing that, and as I say, there'll be several videos made in the process, and then me camping overnight in the wilderness somewhere, hidden away, tucked away, because it's actually illegal in the UK. So yes, it's kind of one of those soft illegal things. Technically, it's trespass, but if you trying to find some common land or somewhere where you're just not going to get seen is the key, because if you don't get seen, then nobody knows you did it or where you did it. Howdy Al, how are you, Mr. Moist Hose? So yes, that's mostly been what's been going on this week. What was this week's video? This week's video was Wilby All Saints Church, which is currently under renovation. They're repairing the chancel roof, which is why I couldn't get inside. Apologies for the lack of actual history in that video, but Muggins was more concerned about remembering things like, drink, stuff that goes on the bike to take, and completely completely and utterly forgot about the one piece of paper that had all the notes on from both churches I visited. So there's a monolith stone around the Yorkshire area, the Hudson Stone. Do you know of it? And there are so many various monoliths. Monolith, it's like a monorail, but more useful. Yeah, there's all sorts of those kind of things. When I eventually, well, once the Pedder's Way is done, I think the next long one after that will be the North Norfolk Coast Path, and that will take me past where Seahenge was before they dug it all out to save it from just being destroyed. The monolith, the oldest one in all of Britannia. Ah, very cool. But yeah, so 10,000 years old. Yeah, that's old even for the UK. It's something like, I think the Iceni revolt was at 60 and 61 AD or something like that. But we're going back 2,000 years, and that's relatively modern British history. So yeah. Quartz, so those on quartz ley line, a lot of hubbub. I bet I shall have to look into that. There is quite a bit of quartz around the Yorkshire area. Non-gold bearing, unfortunately, but and it may well be gold bearing. Yorkshire folks are so tight they don't want to let it go. Sorry, Yorkshire. I think everyone here is American anyway, so I can get away with it for now. And us joking about other counties is like you joking about other states. So Florida man or Idaho, which apparently is one of the latest ones. It would be a great place to go. Bloody long way away. A good couple of 100 miles from me, which I know in American terms isn't very far, but in UK terms, it may as well be on a different planet. Not fair. Idaho is where you go if you want to marry your sister. Thought that was Alabama. I'll say all I know about Idaho is potatoes. It's just oh dear. Potatoes and incest. As long as it's not incest with a potato, well, it's all marry. Well, it takes some stones to be the outsiders of our religion. So, and say what you will about Mormons, they don't come knocking on your door asking if you're interested in the teachings of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. To which I have developed the fortunate or unfortunate nervous tick of going, "Hail Satan!" And then they tend to go away when you do that. Or if you start chanting in Latin, that normally scares them as well. Utah is the Mormon capital of the world. Just answer the door in my gimp mask. Yeah. By the time I've got that on, though, they wandered off to the next house, and I think what's happened is they managed to recruit some new members to the cult around here, the Jehovah's. Because for years I didn't get a single one knock on my door, and it's been like once every week for the past month. And I've been getting handwritten letters as well. %66% of them. Oh, please change it to 66.6, so it's 666. That would just be epically hilarious. That could be dim Mormons then. Buddy escaped them. His family. Yes. I've never bought into the whole cult thing. So I know it's a religion, but let's be honest. Most religions pretty much are. Anyway, let's get away from religions before I turn everyone off. And the other thing that happened this week, you probably won't notice any difference. We now have full fibre broadband all the way into the house. So last time I checked, because it started to stabilise, we're around 50 meg upload and 150 meg download. So we shouldn't have any issues with streams. Well, not from my end anyway. Also internet phone as well. So yeah. So now instead of needing 2 sockets for your broadband and phone, you now need 4. Because the actual socket that the fibre comes in on needs power. The router needs power. The phone needs power. And the phone also has its own little mini router. Oh, yes, medical marijuana. The devil's lettuce. Jeremy spoken. How you doing, Jeremy? Hope all is well. I'm glad to have you around. Only Texas will I. It begins with an M. Texans will never let M's in legally. Mexicans, marijuana. There's probably a few more. I'm going to steer away from that joke a bit too soon. But yeah, it's weird. Bonjour, Angelique. How are you? Comment ça? Oui. Oh no. Jeremy's straight, that's why he's here. He's got no Tweed. Got no Cheryl Tweedy. Was it Shannon? No, it's Shannon Tweedy, wasn't it? Shannon Tweedy. Cheryl Tweedy was a really bad singer. Exactly, Tommy. Okay. I know a lot of illegal Mexicans. Awesome people. Yeah. Coming in here, taking our jobs. Yeah, we get the same thing over here. Those damn foreigners coming here, taking our jobs. No, they're taking the jobs that you're not willing to do. If you took those jobs, then there wouldn't be any jobs for them. Yeah, funny that. Hello. There's Adele. Prince of Plecos and Master of Mole. I like Ponce. it's nicely close to Ponce. Although family is overrated, exactly. I have as little to do with mine as possible. A lot of things from my Mexican friends about family. Never wearing a condom equals a big family. Yes. Prince of Ponce sounds quite good. Same here. I get all and we not stop the stupid government. Yeah, it's and that was the reason Brexit happened, was just basic racism. Um, then all the foreign lorry drivers left because they were no longer getting the good money. And we had a big problem with deliveries getting into supermarkets for quite a while because there weren't enough lorry drivers to go around. But no, that's nothing to do with Brexit. That's some other reason. No, it's purely because of Brexit. What's that? Half the crops haven't been picked in time. Oh, yeah, that's because there aren't enough workers in the fields. Yeah. Yeah. Most sections don't care about the media, like to hype it up like we do. Hello, Sarah. How are you, Miss Getting Owner? Yeah, we are. We're nomads by nature. We are hunter gatherers by nature. That's what we are. It's generally not exactly natural for us to stay put, and all the borders and boundaries are just made up by the people with power. Yes, pedos. Yeah, and generally white people with lots of money and power is where borders came from. This bit's ours. You can have that bit. Followed by the original habit that's going, oi, that's the crap bit. Give us at least some of the good bit. Oh, you want to go to war over it, do you? Okay, well, gun beats spear. Close to nature without being looked at like a stinky hippie. Well, I'm working on the hair and I got the smell. I just got to get closer to nature. It's always good to touch grass occasionally. Grass. Or, yeah, the other one. That's part of my wanting to get out and about on the bike and explore and enjoy nature. So I'm okay for a white girl many times by ethnic groups. It's because you're not racist. We've got a fair population of Eastern Europeans in my town. I get on with them great. Don't get a single problem at all. Have a laugh. They know me. They recognise me in the street. Hello, my friend. You know why? Because I treat them like they're human beings. If they struggle with a bit of English, work it out between us. Make it fun. Now have a laugh about it. Not, you know, complain about it. Because I'm damn sure if I went to Poland or Bulgaria, my Polish or Bulgarian would be far worse than their English. And all the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy. Oh, Danny boy, he's working on a Sunday. Poor little sod. How are you doing, Dan, other than being at work? Um, yeah, work sucks. Even if you enjoy your job, and I do, I enjoy my job. but still, work sucks. So if we didn't have to do it, life would be so much easier. Dee Dee, how are you? Howdly doodly. I hope you enjoyed your first stream. I'm apologies for missing it, and I will watch the replay. Not purely for dirty reasons. Oh dear. Mad mowers about. At this rate, we'll be mowing in the dark. At least it'll be a bit cooler then, though, Tom. You got headlights on your mower? I'm glad it's behind you. Yeah, the first one's the hardest, Dee Dee. But with your wonderful personality, your sense of humour, your beautiful smile, you got it sorted. Duct tape a spotlight to the rider and go, boy. Yes, like my job, I'd rather have spent the day in the garden and the evening in the Sunday stream. Yeah, it's certainly been a nice day. So we were trolling around various outdoorsy type shops this afternoon, trying to pick up the last few bits you need, what I need. Got a couple and then realised that, oh yeah, Amazon is a lot cheaper for a lot of this stuff. So what did I get? I got some carabiners, pair of cycling gloves, and a folding windshield for my camp stove. And if you do wheelies, you can spotlight the planes. Oh yeah. Laser straight, yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, I really should cut the grass out there. It's starting to, since I cut all the brambles and nettles down, the grass has gone a bit crazy, so I'm going to cut that this week. Garden Zone 9B, I have no idea. On Garden Zone warm and wet. Yeah, I'll say it was a bit warm walking around. What did we do? We did the range, or the O range, giving it its proper name. Go outdoors and Halfords. Yeah. And I'm watching the Indy 500. No, I'm not, Sarah. I haven't watched it for donkey's years. Lots of motion links, got a great moat with a dry area with the grass. Yes, golf courses. I say golf courses should be left a bit rougher than they actually are. Make it more of a challenge. And leave the divots. Let the grass grow long. Let them get ticks on their legs. Always warm in the range while it burns a hole in my pocket when I'm in there. Yeah, can do. Yeah. I behaved myself though. And one of the main things I'm looking for, and this is going to sound dumb, is change out the guy ropes or guy lines which came with the tarp, purely because they're day glow orange with reflective stripes, which really isn't conducive to hiding yourself away. Howdy, Clark. Just finished the maintenance, about to head out with a few friends for a beer. That sounds a good idea to me. Yeah, tigers. Yeah, exactly. They're not big enough chunks. They go, oh, leave them. If the ball ends up in there, they've got to get it out again. That's their problem. Shouldn't have hit it in there. That's my entire theory. I forget which comedian said it, but golf is a nice walk spoiled. Yeah, I never quite understood golf. It's probably because the only times I've ever tried to play it, for some reason, either my legs grow an inch during my backswing or my arms shorten by an inch during my backswing. So I've got the ball nicely addressed, I've got the right grip, and I do the swing, and I come back through and over the top of the ball. How the hell did that happen? Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah, the range. I don't know, how would you explain the range? Kind of like Walmart without food, I guess, is probably a fairly accurate. You know, it sells everything pretty much apart from food. So, literally next to the area where the camping gear was, there was the light shades. Yeah, rich people, big crocodile. I was going to say crocodile sightings in Melbourne, Florida. Yes. Evening, Nabokov fan. How you doing? Lifting the head up. I don't know. I just go. It's like, well, I can probably throw it or kick it further. So only ice sled or golf courses. So I'd like to get on there with a dirt bike. That'd be fun. Do some donuts on the greens in the middle of the Masters down at Augusta. Chew them up and get it in there. Tools, underwater glue, camping mats, wooden swings, artificial plants. Yeah, pretty much it. They even sometimes have fishy stuff in as well, aquariums stuff, so tanks and filters. Very low endy. I say low endy. I mean that kind of stuff. The glass box. Yeah, but you shouldn't need to keep your eyes on the ball. You know where the ball is. You want to see where it's going after you hit it. That's the problem I have. You're like, right, yeah, I know where the ball is. Why is it still down there? Just need a bigger golf bat. I think that's the problem. If I could play it with a cricket bat, I'd be sorted. I hate to think how far you could hit a golf ball with a cricket bat. Pardon me. We've got another batch of bristlies. 5 tanks slowly catching up. Also bred better fish for the first time last week. Program well. Congratulations on being a better breeder. Something I've not done and don't want to do. See you later, Danny boy. Don't work too hard. Hit the ball before you look for it. But yeah. So the get a drink ready. The Nanakaras are back out and about, so I think I had wrigglers this time, but I think they may have been eaten again. So keep giving them more and more chances, and eventually they'll get it right. The posh cribs, the subocellatus, they're definitely on eggs at the moment because they're chasing the one remaining criblet well. The gloves, no, just a pair of cycling gloves. That's I do silly thumbnails for live streams. So yeah, just cycling gloves for when I'm doing my longer distance rides. I wouldn't bother going to work and back or a couple of miles, but as I've got a 50-mile ride coming up in a fortnight. What do you get when you insert human DNA into a goat banned from the petting zoo? You do all this wonderful work all your life, give thousands to charity, help out all these needy people, but you bang a goat one time, and you're just known as goat for the rest of your life. But yeah, I decided I need to lose a bit of the paunch, get a bit fitter, get some fresh air, exercise, lose a few pounds, explore my beautiful county. Is this? The more I look into what's in this county, the more I find. And there's things I've known about in the past I've forgotten. Yeah, I'm at that age now where it's a risk. I'm considerably older than you are. I have a funny feeling. Hang it, Sarah. It's just amazing what a whole heap of pleco poop will do for a tank. See, this is what happens when you don't gravel back and you don't feed your plants. Eventually, once the poop is built up and the mold is built up in the substrate enough, then that's what you get. Plants going crazy. Fish multiplying like crazy. I have no idea how many limia are in there now. But I wouldn't be surprised if they outnumber the bristles. Because there ain't nothing eating them. And I've got a funny feeling the limia killed off the epistogramma I put in there. Guess I haven't seen it for a while. And they are actually rather aggressive little fishies. 2, 3, 5 squats before the stream. I'm going to take your dog for a walk. Not a euphemism. For once, Santa says something that isn't a euphemism. Exactly so. I don't give a squat. I did a squat the other day and nearly followed through. Dangerous thing. There's lots of very strange things. Old sayings that you don't use anymore that kind of went out of fashion, or that you're not actually allowed to say anymore because they're now extremely offensive. Well, they probably were offensive back then, but you didn't care. Those of us of a certain age can remember when you could say things and get away with it. The only person that would actually get offended is the person you were saying it to. Cop squat while out there. Yes. Always wonder what regional was just dated. Yeah, I mean, it's probably kind of similar for over this side of the pond and that side of the pond, where different states or different counties will have different sayings and names for the same thing. And they're not always obvious. And Norfolk is very good at it. Norfolk pronunciations are very strange. To the point where English people struggle with Norfolk pronunciations of place names. Even people that are from Norfolk struggle with some of them. Ooh, how much does a squat cost? A couple of calories, I reckon. And depending how careful you are, a new pair of undies. So I mean, places like Cossey or Tacklestone or Haysborough, they aren't spelt like they're pronounced. So you'll have people saying Costasey or Tackleneston or Happisburgh. And Stookie, well, that's that's just stiff key. Yeah, spooky. Well, Dee Dee's our Southern Belle, isn't she? So you got them, Cat. Have a word of sweets for the kid. I don't take drugs. Yeah, Cat these days is an abbreviation of ketamine, so yeah, I get where that one. You and I both, Dee Dee, we both have to kind of hold back on the more outspoken parts of our character. They're not suitable for the algorithm. Seems like every other one of my live streams now is either limited monetization or demonetized. How do I like the Zis breeder box? Well, it's a box. Baby fish go in it, and they grow bigger, and then they go into a fry tank. Yeah, I don't bother with the air because there's plenty of filtration in there. Yeah, it's a case of once a week. I get in there with a turkey baster and suck the gunk out the bottom. Yeah, it sticks on the tank, stays level. The placklets live in there quite happily, so I'm not going to complain. The problem with a lot of the breeder boxes, specifically the ones that hang on the outside, they're completely useless because all my tanks have lids and edges and rims, and they don't fit. And a lot of the internal ones, the actual slots or holes in them to allow for the water to flow through, are so big that they allow the fish to flow through as well. So you put all your little fishes in your breeder box, and then you come out again the next day, and you have a look, and there's no fishes in your breeder box. And then you see them all swimming around in the tank, and you're, oh, balls, the holes are too big. So then you have to get some, especially jumpfish, or are they internal? Or they're internal and insanely small. Yeah, I've got one down here somewhere. Another one. Stretch. Nope, yeah, that's not going to work. It's just going to be a loud crash and a bang as I fall over. So there's that one, which I think is a marina one. At first glance, it'll stick to the side of the tank. Comes with all these dividers and random bits of plastic that you throw in the bin because they're completely pointless and useless. The slots in it are big enough that baby bristlenoses just swim straight through it. So I'm going to have to get some more silicone and silicone some 1mm stainless steel mesh on either side to stop everything from escaping. I saw Taylor and she had, yeah. So yes, they can go through the bottom and be safe. Yeah, but they can swim straight back up again and they still get eaten. Even then, they can still swim straight outside as well. So yeah, I'm sure they don't think these things through too well. Ooh, Dee Dee releasing air. Ooh. As long as Dee Dee's not releasing her airbags, because I think that might be against terms of service for YouTube. I mean, I'd watch it definitely. I think that'd be more of an OnlyFans kind of thing. But yeah, so yeah, this breeder box does exactly what it says on the tin. Plecklets can't get out of it. Because the mesh is fine enough. There's enough water flow through it. It grows a bit of algae in it. Yeah, does the trick. I mean, the occasional limia does manage to jump in there, but they're easy enough to catch. And the other good thing is when you pull it out, that bottom part, the water stays in there. So if you keep it level, you can just take it straight out, take it to a fry rack and just tip it in. You don't get the lift out and all the water drains out of it. All the fish are flopping around in the bottom because they've got no water. Waiting for Dee Dee's Clean It Like Craig video. Oh no, Dee Dee wasn't sub to Nonna as well. It's one of them things, Dee Dee, that we forget who is subscribed to, and as much as the Tube of You says that it doesn't unsubscribe you from channels, it does. There are ones I know I've been subscribed to for years, and all of a sudden I'm not anymore. Oh, Sarah's out off for a lunch. Enjoy. Oh, is it Memorial Day today? Well, happy Memorial Day, US. And enjoy your beers, Clark. Well earned for breeding Bristleys and Betters in the same week. Cheers. Non-alcoholic, obviously, for me. Snails is a trick, Dee Dee. Snails, they keep your tanks clean. The only tank that doesn't have snails in is the only tank I get. Sorry, the only tank that doesn't have snails or plecos in is the only tank I get algae in. What does that tell you? So I was talking to someone earlier about burnout, and yeah, so if you are making videos and you've got a channel, don't burn yourself out because it's easily done. I kind of had it a bit at the end of last year and start of this year, and it probably showed that I was forcing myself to make videos and upload them, which is why I'm down to 1 a week now. Well, I was doing 2 a week for a couple of years, and that's a different kind of burnout. That's just too much heat, Tom. Stay in the cool. But yeah, it's easy to burn yourself out on YouTube. Several thousands of people have probably done it over the years, if not millions, but several fish farmers I know have burnt themselves out on it. And yeah, it's easy to do. And also, the more you make videos, the harder it gets to find something to make a video about without repeating yourself every couple of months. Which is why I do the fish, I do the history and the ghosties, and did the models in the past, and there's going to be some campy, bikey type ones coming up. It's actually making a video about something fishy wise. You soon kind of run out of ideas, and you don't want to just repeat what other people have done. Pardon me. And that's one of the things I found with the modelling is it was getting expensive to make videos because it's like, oh, I need to make a video this week. What can I do? Oh, I'll do a kit review. Well, yeah, you've already reviewed all your kits, Sharpe. Oh, crap, that means I've got to buy another one. And when the model kits are like 50, 60 quid each that you're building, it gets expensive real fast. Oh, Shelley's arguing about where a rock should be. Used to let my daughter use my phone and sub to everyone she ever watch. It was 3 hours to go through. Bet you still got Cocoa Melon on there though, Dee Dee. I need to show you all this how I ride my bike without a seat. That's only my OnlyFans. Yeah, and no, I'm not getting a second crank set fitted either. If you've seen those videos, you know what I'm talking about. Grim. Or drilling a hole in the seat. But yeah, it's burnout is a thing. And it's see you later, Dee Dee. Love you too. Enjoy the dry and the sun before it rains. But yeah, I'll say, even you're making fish content, you run out of ideas. Well, I could always, I can get new fish. You come to a point where all your tanks are full, and you get to the point where you don't want any more tanks because it's just a hell of a lot more work. Just keep doing your water changes, keep up with everything. I mean, I've got 14 up and running at the moment, and it takes best part of half a day at least, and that's just going around literally just changing the water and cleaning the filters. Any more than that, yeah, no thanks. I'm like, this week, because I was working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I had to get all my water changes done before I went to work. It's really not fun. By the time you get to work, you've already done a good few hours actual work. And then you get to work and it's completely dead and boring as hell, and you wish you were at home doing water changes. You know it's bad when you and your manager opened up solitaire on the tills and you just stood there playing solitaire, waiting for a customer to come in because you've got everything else done you can. Yeah. Right, so what are my plans for this week? This week's video is probably going to be Eccles Church, which is the one from the short last week with the chanty monk. Although this video is without monk. There is no funky monkey in the video. So then, as far as I'm aware, the week after will be. So I took myself off to a local common yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was. So did a bit of a video down there about what's occurring and the various wildlife that are living down there. Plenty of road noise in the background, but also lots of bird song going on. So a rather nice place to be. So and then it'll be hot for me. I mean, I know according to bike packing, what I'm doing is a 2-day. Most people would probably do as a 1-day ride or an afternoon ride. Yeah, and so there's going to be quite a few videos come from that, and then as and when I get any other fishy type ideas, I'll film those as well. So I'm always open to suggestions. If anyone's got any ideas of something I'd like to see within reason, then I'll try and figure out how to film it. I suppose I could do a how to roll cigarettes video, but pretty sure that would get demonetized. Yes, exactly, within reason. 'Cause I know Sam's here. I mean, there are some things that are very tricky to do for me because I don't do the editing, so it has to be one shot for the whole video. Itchy nose. So yeah, it can be tricky if it's something that covers a complex subject for me to actually film it. But you know, I'll give it a go. Some of the modelling ones are, they actually took me longer to figure out how to film it without having to figure out how to do editing than it did to actually do it. You know, when you're showing something that takes multiple steps and things have to dry, and yeah, doing it in one shot is tricky. I don't know about the cell phone reception about where I'm going, so there might be. I've already tried one of them, Adele. I've got the GoPro mount on the handlebars because I was trying the time lapse out. I've not actually watched it back yet. It's not one I'd upload because it's a time lapse of my ride to work. But yeah, I can do that. I can. If you want to hear a fat bloke huffing and puffing and swearing, I'll have to actually watch that video back and see how it came out, and then work out what I can do. Yeah, and that's part of the reason for the new bike is so I can go different places, film different things. One of the ones I do have to do is purely for our American friends. Is film me going down some of the narrow country lanes around here. I don't think you'd quite believe that they're actually roads. Time lapse easy, put audio or music over the top. Yeah, that means I've got to figure out how to edit. And won't hear me having a coronary. I'm not too bad. If the wind's in the right direction and it's not uphill, then I'm normally not too out of breath. So I might give it a go. I mean, I'm going to take a ride to Wyndham at some point this week. Wandham. And go up around Silfield, what used to be the gravel pits where I saw black shark, which is now a nature reserve. Go figure. Yeah, I'm not even sure if HMS Craptop can actually do editing. Don't think it's powerful enough, and probably too old and broken and worn out, a bit like me. So yeah, I'll see. I'll see if I can figure things out, and maybe a ride down the bridle path. That might be doable. Lots of crunching noises from gravel and sticks going snap. Or just a bit of a ride around. It's just whether the camera would be going constantly. I guess. Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure what. I know what it is. It's really quiet noises that you have to turn the volume up to hear, and then it makes little sense. I don't get ASMR. I don't even know what it stands for. a smear. Ricky, how you doing? Hope all is well. Are you drunk yet? I was watching. Well, thank you for watching my shrimp maintenance vid. Always surprised me how timid people can be. Yeah, it's not that hard, is it? To do tank maintenance, you just pull some water out and put some new water in. Clean up anything that needs cleaning up and clean out the filter. It really isn't that tricky. I mean, I'm not knocking people who are very careful and very timid about it. Perhaps they've got reasons for it. Perhaps they've had issues when they've done it Sharpe style. The Sharpe style tank isn't for everybody. Yeah. It's like the people who panic when they find some Daphnia in their tank or detritus worms, and then you get you've been overfeeding, you need to cut back on the feeding and back your substrate and do this. No, leave it. Maybe cut back on your feeding a bit, but yeah, the fish will eat the detritus worms. Don't worry about it. They're not doing any harm. Same with the Daphnia, same with the scuds or the freshwater shrimp. Yeah, they're not hurting anything. It's all part of a natural ecosystem. And that is, in essence, what we want to create in a fish tank is a natural ecosystem, because then everything will be healthier and happier and it's not some sterile system where the only things in there are the things you put in there. Well, I didn't put it in there. Was it in there? Well, it's evolved somehow from nothing. A lot of it is eggs of things or whatever that come in on plants or in fish poop. But it always seems to turn up. About the only tank I've not had any like Daphnia or detritus worms or anything turn up in is the Shelly tank, and that's just because they eat them all. Oh, pardon me. Oh, hello, baby swarm. Yeah, there's probably 40 or 50 baby Shellies in there. Yeah, the ones that we can see with naked. There's so much life in a fish tank. Protozoas, amoebas, paramecium, microflora, microfauna, all the other things that, you know, are just natural. Oh, that's great news, Ricky. Well done. Not blood cancer, naturally high RBC and hemoglobin. It's a super red blood. I feel ripped off. My guppies don't eat detritus worms. They'd probably be inbred so often they've forgotten how to eat things like that, is what I would think. I mean, you know, guppies come from Alabama. Yeah, they'll quite happily eat bloodworms. They won't eat detritus worms. Yeah, guppies aren't exactly the brightest of fish. Many years ago, when I worked in the brush factory, there was a pair of young lads that always hung out together. And my nicknames for them, because they weren't the brightest, was Swamp Toad and Guppy. Yeah, live berries in general can be a bit dim. I mean, I'll say the limia that are in there are a wild type limia. So they've still got all their natural instincts and reactions in them. Whereas things like guppies and swordtails and platies and mollies are all so captive bred that I've not probably seen a detritus worm in about 20 generations, so they have no idea what it is. I was going to make it a deal, something that huge demand list. If the list was fulfilled, I would have gone with medications. So yeah, you don't get the fun drugs. That's a shame, but you know. Here we go. Let's have a look around with a camera. So yeah, spot the tank that doesn't have snails or plecos in it with all the algae on the glass. Will it focus? Not really. But somewhere in the middle of there's 40 or 50 baby shellies. Gorgeous little fishies. And yes, they do bite. And then, so here we have the limia. So yeah, they're a wild sight. You can tell by the coloration that they've still got the stripes and the colours. Oh, it wouldn't be a Sharpe stream without a happy Cara. Here we go. Which one's that? Is that but that's Ernie. And yeah, so we've got a Cara that size in there. And then you got tiny little limia fries scooting around as well, and they don't get eaten. Which is a problem. We have an escaped bristlenose that shouldn't be in there. Wee all the way around again. Yeah. There's a few more limia. And a whole bunch of bristlies everywhere. Oh. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, there is bristlenoses in there amongst the snails. Oh. Is Cookie Monster wearing any perverse ones today? No, he's getting his armpit cleaned. And yeah, more in there, more in there, more in there, along with some, believe it or not, there are actually some cribs in there as well. And Doug is visible. There's Doug. Hello. Howdy, Andrew. How you doing, my friend? Always happy Cara. Happy Cara is life. I don't think there is a more chill cichlid on the face of the planet than Happy Cara. They are the most chill things. Bob, what fresh hell! It's always fresh and hellish around here, Bob. How are you, sir? Hope all is well with you. Love your little Episto babies. Awesome. Got to love some Bubby Epistos. They are super cute with their little stripes. Sat here listening to hear water dripping, now I have a paddling pool. Oh dear. What's leaking, Andrew? Were you in the middle of a water change and forgot, or is something actually leaking? Topping up a tank and forgot. Yeah. Just took the last jackfruit down from the tree and 19.4 kilo fruit. Jeez. That's a 40-pound fruit. I know some people like that. Gave away most of it, and the whole house has a sweet, fruity smell now. My house has a slightly different aroma to it usually. More of a musky, farty smell. Oh, and Andrew needs to talk to Al because they both got wet socks. I joke. Thankfully, it's not something I've ever done. The upsides to being bucket brigade. because you have to stand there and pour it in. And that way you don't, although I've come rather close because that one actually gets gravel vacked. I use the gravel vac as a siphon. It's just easier than pulling it all out of the jar or jug. Yeah, so I've nearly overfilled the bucket a couple of times, but I've not overfilled the tank yet. There's always a chance that something's going to go wrong, but you know, we'll try and avoid it. I have had one tank that started leaking, so we got rid of that one. That was the one. Yeah, that was the one that had the blue shrimp in it. It was a same design as these with the black plastic rim around the top and bottom, and I noticed that why is the bottom of the rim wet? So I dried it out. Came back 2 minutes later, it was wet again. Dried it out. Came back 2 minutes later, wet again. Dried it out. Okay, that tank's leaking. Mary is doing wonderfully. Thank you very much, Bob. She managed to stab herself in the finger with a screwdriver this week, but other than that, she's doing well. And she's got the week off as well, so probably at some point this week we'll go explore perhaps Oxborough Hall. I'll have to do some research so I can make a comprehensive video. Probably just be yabbering on the video on the outside because indoors there's probably going to be a lot of people around. And the last time I filmed a video inside something that had other people around, they thought I was giving a guided tour. Do blue crystal shrimp exist or are they photoshopped? They probably exist. Are they as blue as the pictures make out? Probably not. I mean, a lot of, if not most of the pictures you'll see, especially in publications or things like that, then yeah, there's been photoshopping going on and editing and to make everything look as good as possible. So with my witty quips will be awesome. I shall do my best then, Bob. I'll say it's an old moated manor house, so should be interesting. And shadow gene ones, which are black bando with blue underneath. So mutt shrimp. Yes, I upset shrimp people as well. Plot twist, Mary doesn't exist, it's just me in a dress. Ah, Mary has shown up in videos. Mary does turn up sometimes. Normally with a shh, there's a wild Mary. And she like disappears around the corner of a building or something because she doesn't like being on camera too much. She definitely doesn't like speaking on camera. She's only done that the once. And she was very nervous about it. I had to sign a waiver first. Yes, quite probably. So, yeah. Wild Mary sighting is rare but not unheard of. Exactly. She does exist. And she bought me some things for my camping trip this week. Bless her. Sort of all the first aidy type stuff. I mean, I got myself a first aid kit, but she got me some Vaseline and baby powder and insect repellent and wet wipes and Andrex wet wipes. Try to see what else there was. Whole bunch of things. Oh, and the world's cutest pot of Sudocrem, which I do have to go and get. Ooh. So yes, the world's cutest pot of Vaseline and the world's cutest pot of Sudocrem. And yes, I know it says on there, antiseptic healing cream for nappy rash. But it has to be, I'd say it's the best one there is. Because it stays put, it doesn't come off. And it also says nappy rash, eczema, surface wounds, sunburn, minor burns, acne, bed sores, chilblains. So yeah, pretty much any kind of injury that you'd use an antiseptic cream on, you can't beat Sudocrem. And that is just the cutest little pot. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, there's no fancy label or packaging or anything. It just works. I've got a funny feeling that might be seeing some rather intimate areas of my body. If I'm spending hours in the saddle, there's probably going to be some saddle sores and some chafing, which is why we do have baby powder as well, and Vaseline. Just don't use the two of them at once. And might be a bit of Vaseline going around the mouth and the nose. Not for the general reasons of moisturizing, but more for trying to stop some of the pollen going up my nose. Haven't gone camping ever. I've gone camping in an RV. How do you go to the loo when you're camping? Well, you pee up a tree or behind a bush, or if you need to do a solid, you dig a hole and you bury it. It's that simple. You dig the hole, you drop your load, you wipe your butt, you stick that in the hole, and you bury it all. Because it's all completely natural, it all breaks down and just feeds the flowers. Yeah. Does a bear crap in the woods? Yes, and so do campers. Fortunately, no bears over here, so I haven't got to worry about that. The only things that might join me in my tarp, under my tarp, sorry, other than flies and spiders and beetles, which is why, yeah, squat and hold on. Yeah. And Tom just leaves a trail like a rabbit. Yeah, he just lets it fall out down his pants leg. So other than invertebrates, about all that might end up with me, yeah, or in a bag if you're near, yeah. So you can do it the same as you would with a dog as well, where you pick up after yourself. What you do first is you turn the bag inside out, you grab it with your, and then you fold the bag back over, either ziplock it or tie it up, and you stay hands clean. No bears. Yeah, I mean, there are wild boar now in the UK. I don't think there's any around here. But yeah, the actual biggest thing that might end up in there would be a deer, a muntjac or a roe, possibly. More likely rats and rabbits. Howdy, he's back again. He's dried the floor off. Summer, so you can get snakes. Yeah, there are snakes. Although grass snakes aren't venomous, and the adder, originally called a nadder, 10-gallon bucket, garbage bag, and a pool noodle makes a good dunny. It's also how to take fish fillets from a bag of fish. Yes. Well, yeah, so deer, rabbits, rats, mice. Yeah, there's nothing dangerous in the UK. I'll say the adder, which is a venomous snake. It's not bad unless you're allergic to it, and I don't think I am, and there aren't that many of them around. And they're more of a heathland species, and I'll be in farmland and woodland, so not a problem. Hello, Jenny Lynn, how are you? Getting ready for work. Oh, I feel your pain. I'll have a wonderful day at work. Asking where I was too. Oh, bless. Yeah, sorry. Where was? Yeah, I just got carried away with chores and stuffs. Oh, pardon me. And Aqua Garden Zen is making sandwiches. That reminds me, I've got to sort something out for tea as well. Yeah, I'll say there's nothing really to worry about with the wildlife in the UK. I mean, there's some that are just annoying, like gnats and mosquitoes. Near East Anglia, I am in smack dab in the middle of East Anglia, Ricky. Yeah, there's nothing much to worry about here. So, the only thing I know I'm allergic to is wasps, and I won't be having anything sweet or whatever around camp, so that's not going to be a problem. You get a nap there, Adele? Close your eyes and stick a Sherlock Holmes audiobook on. Sent me a message with a link, assumed I was asleep. What? Did I actually get that? I don't recall getting it, so oh well. But yeah, I'll say that was probably Adele that was meant for. Yeah, I don't even know what I was doing yesterday. I think I just got carried away with other stuffs. Stung 3 times by wasps 2 weeks ago, the little bar stewards. Yes, so I am allergic to those. So I will take my EpiPen with me just in case. Although I find the best way to avoid being stung by wasps when you see one isn't go, there's a wasp, there's a wasp, get it away. It's to just go, there's a wasp. Don't move. Let it do its waspy things. If it lands on you, just a little movement and it'll fly off and do what it's got to do. You start flapping your arms around and acting like, oh, there's a wasp, then yeah, it's going to sting you. Yes, I'll take the EpiPen with me. Had an offer from the UEA, the University of East Anglia, based just outside of Norwich. It's about 15 miles away from me. I went to Queen's Belfast for September. Yeah, either are cool. You'll be safe in Belfast. I mean, not as safe as you'd be in Norwich. I mean, UEA is a good university, a decent one at least. And yeah, it's pretty much out in the Norfolk countryside, so it's a lovely place to be. Yeah, that's what I did while yelling in a high pitch to help. That'll be why you got stung, Tom. Just leave them be. It's like any animal. If it feels threatened, it's going to attack. I mean, unless it's an Australian animal, then it's just going to attack anyway. Those dang drop bears. Evil. Um, yeah. Oh, Belfast. Oh, in Belfast isn't that big, so I mean, the Northern Irish countryside is beautiful as well, and you won't have to worry about snakes either. You won't even have to worry about adders. You want it colder. Yeah, Norfolk tends to be fairly warm most of the time. When it gets cold, it gets real cold though. We do wind rather well in Norfolk, being as it's relatively flat, and it tends to come in off the North Sea or the North Atlantic or across from like Siberia. So yeah, the winter winds in Norfolk are exceptionally cold, but nah, you get used to it. Ooh, pardon me again. Um, but yeah, summertime here. I mean, like today, it's been 20 something degrees C, bright sunshine. Well, it's clouded over a bit now, but it's been a lovely day all round. I've had the back door open most of it as well. Actually, had the back door open all night because I forgot to close it before I went to bed, which also tells you a bit about how it is where I live. I can leave the back door open and don't get robbed. Dad was like, "Why don't you go to the polls?" Yeah, I think the Antarctic University might be a bit much. And weird enough, the driest place on Earth is actually in Antarctica. It's so cold that water doesn't exist at that temperature. It's zero humidity by the time it gets there, and yeah, anything that goes there just freeze dries and dies. That cold and that dry that it just sucks all the moisture out of everything. It's like there are mummified seals there that have been there for thousands of years because nothing can survive there because it's too cold. Even the bacteria don't survive. I forget what it's called, but yes, the driest place on Earth is actually in Antarctica. I think they estimate it's been like a couple of thousand years since any snow or anything fell there. It's not the kind of place you want to visit on a holiday because your beer will evaporate instantly. And you definitely don't want breathable clothing. Brother can, he's 160 kilo, he's got blubber. Wouldn't be 160 kilo for long there. That'd suck all the moisture out. Yeah. I mean, if it can kill a seal in a matter of minutes, it's. And, you know, seals are about 80% blubber, especially the ones down there. Maybe not the leopard seals. Those things are evil. People think of seals as like sea dogs. They're cute and friendly and funny. Oh no, Bob. Finally locked myself out. Came home with perishable groceries. Found out. Oof. I'd taken the wrong key fob. Couldn't get a locksmith at the time and holiday last night. Had to break in. It took an hour. I'm sure you broke in very delicately and did as minimal damage as possible. Um, I could probably break. No, actually, I wouldn't. And with my old front door, before I had the double glazing, etc., fitted, I could break in seconds. Well, that was just the old Yale type locks. Which, to unlock it, all you need to do is get a stick about yay long, stick your hand through the letterbox with the stick, and push the lever up, and the door opens. Super secure. Or get a thin metal tool and stick it between the two door jambs and just give it a whack, and it'll push the lock to the side if it's been put in the right way. If it's been put in the wrong way, you're screwed. Yeah. Perhaps I should keep my lockpick set in the shed rather than indoors. But then I can't lock the door without having the key. So, yeah. That is the thing with the locks we have. The Euro cylinder locks, you let the door shut, it doesn't lock. Use a screwdriver and a large stone to beat the doorknob off. There's a hole needing a knob. Oh dear. Groceries are fine. Off to Ace Hardware today to make extra keys. Why do you need a lockpick? This is a fun thing to do. The Lockpicking Lawyer, that's the channel you want to watch. Yeah, Sandra Tom says, do you watch The Lockpicking Lawyer? Yes. And I used to watch Bosnian Bill as well. No, it's actually a hobby, picking locks. Whose house am I robbing? Nobody's. Just pick my own locks. It's actually really quite an interesting thing to see how locks are made, how they go together, and how to beat them. In some cases, yeah, you probably just as well not bothering to lock things, given that some locks are like. I did particularly like the gun safe, right, which you think a gun safe has to be pretty secure to make sure nobody gets hold of the gun that's in it that shouldn't. It was that well designed that all you needed to do was just pull the hinge pin out of the back and it'd open. Know how to pick one, but no tools and everything. I can't keep Tom out. Yeah, exactly. It's a good skill to have, and a lot of the time it's not as hard as you think it's going to be. Pick or bypass, exactly. Yeah, most burglars wouldn't know how to pick a lock. Takes too long. It's unlike most people who steal bikes, they have no idea how to pick the lock, even though some of them are so easy. They'll just get a pair of bolt cutters and cut the chain, or even an angle grinder. They will actually, in broad daylight, get an angle grinder out to cut the lock off and then nick the bike. Yeah. And combination locks, just don't do combination locks, because you don't even need a tool to pick those. But yeah, it is kind of shocking when you do realize just how easy some locks are to open. And if you watch The Lockpicking Lawyer, you'll get a bit of a shock. I know he's really good at it, at what he does. And there are like locks that are meant to be almost unpickable that he'll get into in a few minutes. But yeah, when it's an off-the-shelf padlock or something, and he's going, right, yeah, we know how to open this with picking it. Let's see if there's an easy way. Let's just tap it with a hammer from that side. Tap, clunk, there you go, it's open. There's still babies around. There's still plenty of birdies out there, Bob. I think they're just at a point now where they're old enough to feed themselves. Yeah, it's not forbidden knowledge. It's the only illegal thing about picking a lock is if you pick a lock you don't have permission to pick. You can pick any lock you like as long as you have permission. There are some very fancy tools, and as most of us men are, we can be serious tool whores. Is the term. And yeah, so Now, there are ways to defeat all manner of locks. In fact, some of the hardest ones to pick are the oldest, the really old ones with the massive keys, because you just can't get the tension on enough pressure on a pick to actually pick it. The pick bends for all the lock moves. Now they're out there. Blacky birds are still around, and the sparrows. I know that because I got shouted at earlier when I was cutting leaves for latte. So, and other good ones, if you enjoy that kind of delicate finessey thing, sort of the vintage watch services and what's his name? This is the problem when you're subscribed and you just go, oh, they got a new video, click. Yeah, automatic lock picking machine. Yeah, that's just a rake. That's all that is. It's just a lock rake. It just rattles the pins up and down until eventually they all bounce up into the right place. It's really simple. Yeah, most of the time it's easy to just go around the lock. Now, I think people padlock gates, but the actual lock is just screwed onto the gate, so you don't need to pick the lock. Now, buy a really expensive, it's a real expensive, pick proof blah 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 lock, and you go, yeah, what if they just got a screwdriver and undo 2 screws? They can just open the gate anyway. Yeah, you put the screws through from the side inside, not from the outside, where you can just go, there we go, we're in. Yeah, it's really not that hard. And if I knew where my gear was, I could go and get it and pick a lock on stream. Yeah, no point at picking locks at houses. Best place is banks. Yes. Got baby Mises as well coming soon. Got a pregnant feeder mouse. Don't want less snake adder. Don't forget how it ends when she weans the babies. Basically, I think once mice are weaned, then you just treat them like adults, like fish. Really, not that complicated. You just give them food and they eat it. I'm not entirely sure what the best food would be for mice. Probably grains and things like that, I'd have thought. Grains and small bugs, that kind of thing. This is how old ladies start cat colonies. It is. You're going to become a crazy mouse man, Bob. But given the amount of snacks and kitties you got, I don't think that's going to be a problem with you getting overrun with mice. I'm sure Tibby would polish off quite a few. Yazi would probably just bark at it and run away. Prinny would probably give it a sniff and a lick and try and make friends with it. Actually, she'd probably pick it up and bring it to you. That's, yeah, as long as don't do it. Zach used to do with the mice. He'd remove their heads and leave them standing up on the stumps just outside the back door for me as a present. Nice when you come down in the morning and open the back door and there's a line of 7 or 8 mouse heads just sat there looking at you. That's not what you want. Crazy cat lady is still fine, but crazy rat person is not. Don't knock rats. Rats are awesome pets. They are super fun and friendly. I've had rats. They're awesome creatures. Don't confuse the domesticated rat with the wild rat. They're completely different species. Rattus rattus and Rattus norvegicus, I think, are the 2 different flavors. domestic rats are just awesome. You can train them to the level you can train a rabbit. So you can get them to come when they're called. 1 to 2 are fine. Hundreds is a plague, I think. Yeah, that's one of those that would be easy to breed but hard to sell, because they'd probably breed a lot quicker than they'd sell, and take a lot more space and probably pong a lot more than, even though rats are very clean creatures. If you handle one, the first thing they'll do afterwards is clean themselves. And yes, in the movie, Ben was awesome. Ben, that was the main rat in Willard, wasn't it? Willard, if you've not seen that movie, is epic. It's Crispin Glover, sorry, and Ali Ermey in that, I believe, along with some others. But yeah, brilliant film. Is it up there? No, the W section isn't up there. Got Davies, and Mum's first reaction was, "Why the hell did you bring field rats home?" Yeah, Degus are cool, I've got to say. But the only rodents I'm not fans of are hamsters, because they're just psychotic, evil little gimps, and skinny pigs. I do not like skinny pigs. Same way as I do not like bald cats and bald dogs. It's just not right. And yes, that's what we call the hairless guinea pigs. Here is, we call them skinny pigs. Yeah, Michael Jackson's song Ben was the theme. A kid that befriended hundreds of rats. Yes, and Ben was played by an Australian kangaroo rat, I believe, or bush rat, one of those. Yeah, it was a young, it's a young man who's got no friends, and work sucks and home life sucks, and just becomes a rat friend, and then things happen. But yeah, very underrated, very good movie. Although it was weird seeing Ali Ermey out of a military uniform. Seeing him as an office manager was a bit strange, but did you realise the similarities in situations? Are we going to have to start calling you Willard, Bob? Is that what you're saying? Although I look more like him. Although I'm not going to start singing Ben. I know better than to even sing one line of a Michael Jackson song on YouTube. That's going to be an instant copyright. Although it never actually picks up the fact that I'm singing as a copyright. I think it's the artists don't want to be associated with my horrific voice. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, it's been a while since I watched Willard. I might have to watch that again. Well, I have to find it, buy a DVD player first, but you know. Yes, the irony. I've got a massive DVD collection at the moment. I don't have a DVD player. But hey ho. I'm sure Blu-ray players are dirt cheap these days. I don't need anything special. Oh, this is the new 4K, blah, blah, 60 frames. Yeah, my eyesight isn't that good. If my eyesight was good enough to tell the difference, then perhaps. But these things are several years out of date with their prescription. I do need a new pair at some point, but they're not giving me headaches yet, so that's why I know I don't really need a new pair. It's when every morning, around about mid-morning, you start getting a bad headache. That's when you know you need new glasses, because your eyes are struggling to focus in them. And it's only really close-up stuff that I can't focus on. And then I just do the classic old man thing of look over my glasses. But yeah, I have thought about breeding some kind of rodenty thing, but then I decided it was a bad idea. They're a lot harder to move on than fishies are. I can't see a pet shop being too happy with you phoning out and going, yeah, right, how you doing? Yeah, I got 50 rats. How many do you want? 2? Oh, bugger. By which time those rats are having babies as well. Because, yeah, they breed just as soon as guppies would. And while I remember, yes, there are a couple, there's at least one haunted place I know of on the bike ride I will be doing. There's one I'm pretty sure is. There's another person who did it as a walk, visited there and went, I don't like that church, that feels weird, it feels really funny. All rodents bite you except beggars. Yeah. Hamsters are evil. I've not once been bitten by a rat, and they've clawed the bejesus out of me, but that's just when they're climbing up your legs or up your arms because they just want to snuggle. Note to self, mice talk kills the chat. Does seem to, doesn't it, Bob? Talk about picking locks, absolutely fine. Talk about horror movies involving rats and mice, and yeah. Hey, I can talk about rats and mice. Got bit by rats, mice, gerbils, and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I had a hamster that bit me every opportunity it had. Rats, not once. Well, actually, that's a lie. One of them bit me once, but that was entirely my fault because she was fast asleep and I just picked her up. Didn't give her a warning, so she woke up being picked up and went, ah, oh, okay, you, sorry. But that was the rat that you could, if you held food over the top of the cage, she would, while she was asleep, she would jump up, grab the top of the cage, grab the food out of your hands, drop back down, open her eyes, yawn, and then start eating. She was a food-seeking missile. About the only thing she didn't like was things that the only thing she didn't like was cheese. She wouldn't eat cheese no matter what you tried. She'd eat everything else. And she spent half her time just sat on my shoulder as well. So yeah, there were more than once where I've gone to like, I've forgotten she's up there and I'm eating something and this little head comes around and grabs a corner out of my sandwich or something. Oh, pardon me, fire in the hole. Oh, and again. Oh, and again. Oh, a bit spicy. Yeah, I say she used to. That was back when I had really long hair, and she would lay across the back of my shoulders, across the back of my neck, and I'd forget she was there, quite literally. I'd go out, go shopping, and yeah, cashier would suddenly see this rat head poking around the corner of him. She's okay. So one of my gliders dreaming. Oh yeah, yeah. Gliders dreaming, rabbits dreaming. All animals when they dream, it's very funny and very sweet. And you know what they're dreaming about. It's going to be food. Let's be honest. Rabbits dream of bananas because, weird as it may sound, basically a rabbit's favourite food is banana, not carrot. Oh, thank you very much, Bob. No need to do that, but always appreciated. And a very cute picture of a kitty laying on its back, laughing or just meowing. I can't figure out which. But it needs a belly rub. Whatever it's doing, it needs a belly rub. That's what it's doing. It's laying there going, rub my belly, rub my belly. Don't belly rub a rabbit. They really don't like it. As cute and fluffy as a rabbit's belly is, they do not like having their belly touched or their butt. Definitely don't touch the tail as much as you want to. Rabbits really don't like having their tail fondled. They like having their head stroked a lot and their ears held and their back stroked. But yeah, it's the forbidden belly and butt. And Pete's. Don't play with their paws either. That goes for a lot of animals. Yeah, rabbits dream of bananas. Carrots. Weirdly, in the wild, rabbits don't eat carrots. Despite what everyone thinks from Bugs Bunny and the like. Want a chinchilla? Temp's going to be an issue. Forgetting they'd need to be in AC all the time. They would, yeah. I mean, over here, if we keep chinchillas, we generally keep them outside. Most of the time, and only time you'd probably bring them in if it's going to get real cold. Other than that, most people who keep chinchillas keep them in a shed. And they've got the run of the whole shed. They're not like in a little cage or something, but yeah, that's generally what happens. Is chinchillas get kept outside. Rabbits ideally kept inside, because unless you've got really good covers for a hutch, but they still need to come out of the hutch regularly to have bonding with their human and fusses and zoomies time. Black hand tuxedo cats lack the reflective gene to bite belly scratching humans. Some cats do like a good belly rub, but that's only if it's one of those signs where they know you and they really do trust you, as if they let you rub their belly. Don't foxes get them? You kind of take precautions about foxes getting in the shed. But foxes aren't as common as you might think. I've not seen one for years in the wild. Certainly not in this town, anyway. There's plenty of them out of town, and their main diet is rat. But yeah, I mean, in the bigger towns where you'll get people leaving a lot of waste food around, then yes, you do get urban foxes, but they're not as common as people think. I'll say you'll get them some places. I mean, again, Cambridge is a fairly big city, but this is a small town, and we've got a lot of farmland around, so they don't need to come into the town to get food. There's plenty of natural food for them. Genetic colour related cat behaviours is fun reading. I'm sure it is. Cats are very strange creatures, though. I'm like Ginge, one of the neighbour's cats. One day he'll be absolutely lovely. He'll want all the fusses, the belly rubs, the cuddles. He'll want to come and do snoozes with me. The next day, he won't come near me. I go outside, he's sat there, I go, hello, Ginge, how are you, little buddy? But go to fuss him and he'll just walk off. Doesn't want to know. The next day, he'll be back to wanting fusses and cuddles and just strange creatures. I mean, Zach always wanted his fusses, but that was just because he was looking after me. I wasn't Zach's owner. Zach was my owner. I was his pet human. That's probably the best way to put it. He looked after me, weren't me looking after him. All he needed was fusses and the bacon out of my sandwiches, treaties, catnip sock, and somewhere to snooze, and someone to snooze with, and he was happy. Always wanted to pet the foxes, but thought it wasn't safe. Well, they're not going to have anything. They're not going to have anything bad in the UK because we don't have rabies or anything over here. It all depends how tame they are. If they're tame enough to let you stroke them, then it's perfectly fine. If they're not, they'll either run away or they'll bite you. And you'd treat that just like you would a dog bite. So you would go to the doctors and get some antibiotics because chances are it's going to be affected. No, we've eradicated rabies in the UK, Bob. And because we have pet passports as well, so if you say wanted to come to the UK and bring the doggos with you, they'd need a pet passport and they would need to be held in quarantine for, I think it's 6 months. Just to be sure they haven't got anything like rabies or parvo or any of the other nasties, and then they'd be released to you. And that came in since we got rid of rabies. So yeah, if you get bitten by a wild animal in the UK, the main thing you've got to worry about is just general infections. You're not going to get rabies. Worst thing you'll get from a wild animal in the UK is Weil's disease, which you get from rat urine, specifically wild rat urine. So, pet rats are fine. But obviously, if you get rat pee on your hands, wash it off anyway. Hello, Kay. Lurking but had to speak. Foxes carry narcotic mange. Yes, true. They do have mange, or can have. Again, I think that's mostly the urban. So the wild, rural foxes tend not to. You can tell when you see the difference between a urban fox and a rural fox. The rural fox just looks absolutely beautiful, red, full coat, fluffy. The urban foxes look a bit. Oh yeah, hedgehogs are fine. Hedgehogs are great. The only problem with hedgehogs, other than the prickles and they might bite you, is they tend to be covered in ticks and fleas. So usually best not to touch them if you can help it. But yeah, we've got hedgehogs around here and they're relatively friendly. And sometimes it's easier to stroke one of the hedgehogs than it is to stroke one of the cats. Anyway, how are you, Kay? Hope all is well with you. I'll say it's usually a good idea though to just urban fox. Yes, not that kind of urban fox, Tom. Yeah, and the suburban foxes always look that bit nicer. They have a better diet. They don't live on Taco Bell and McDonald's leftovers. Yeah, I mean, where in the US you'd get raccoons maybe messing with your bins and stuff like that, we might get foxes doing the same over here, or rats. Yeah, I mean the rule of thumb, especially around here, is if you're in Norfolk, you're within 6 feet of a rat. Sounds grim, but it's true. Chances are you'll never see them, but they're around. You'll know if you've got bird feeders, and you put bird feeders up, if you put them up in somewhere that rats can get to. A lady adopted a white cat named Sutton years ago from me. Saw a couple of years ago she'd moved to England and returned. 6-month QT was mandatory. Yeah. Lived to be 17. Oh, he had a good life then. Apart from the spending 6 months in quarantine. But again, 6 months in quarantine, but would have got lots of fusses. Fennec foxes are available. I want one, but no more dogs. Well, foxes aren't dogs. Foxes are their own distinct subgenus. Yeah, foxes are actually more in common with cats than they do dogs. Hello, Debs. How are you, my dear? With a hug, a heart, and a lion. Are they canine? Yeah, they're not. I'm really not sure. I'm pretty sure they're canine, but they're not dogs. It's one of those weird scientific things where it looks like a dog, smells like a dog. It ain't a dog. Much like miniature Pekingese. They're not a dog. That's a rodent with the wrong teeth. I joke. Lion is Romy, my grandson. Oh, rawr. He's a lion and a fighter. And he will get through it, Debs. I have every faith in that he'll get through it and be awesome and superhuman. There we are. Yeah, fennec foxes are cute. If I was going to go for a strange, rare, furry friend, it'd be a red panda, though, because nothing is cuter than a red panda. There are certain animals that are cuter when they're small, but even a full-grown red panda is just too cute. The cute little masked face, the stubby little legs, the long body, the huge floofy tail. Yeah, red pandas rock. I haven't got the room for a red panda. I can't afford one either. It's going to be tricky enough with the fish when I'm away for 2 days. I guess I'll have to feed them the morning of the day I go, and then pretty much the first thing I do when I get back will be feed the fish. And then worry about sorting myself out. Which will be one of 3 things. It'll either just be, I need food. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me now. Or it'll be, thud. Or it'll be, I need a hot bath. Want red pad, and the exchange requirements is utterly ridiculous. Last I spoke with SMZ, they want a white tiger. Yeah, I think a white tiger is a bit of a bigger draw for a zoo than a red panda. Although the red panda takes up a lot less room and is a lot cheaper to feed. And you can get a lot closer to it. I wouldn't want a tiger. I mean, tigers are cool, don't get me wrong, but I don't want a pet that thinks I can be food. But anyway, I've overrun my time. I'm not sure. I think Tom might be going live on freshwater fish keeping. I'm not sure if any other fish farmers are live on YouTube. But I'll have to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you everyone being here. Thank you very much, Bob, for the super chat. Always appreciated. Ooh. And have a wonderful week, everyone. Stay safe. Peace out. Rock on. And bye-bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah. Bah.